Welcome to TalkGA, our podcast on anything and everything Grand Archive. I'm your host, Mark from Solar Games, and joining me today are my usual co-hosts, Eva and Fome.
Hey.
All right, so how are you all this week?
I am ready.
Ready for?
Mortal Ambition.
Yeah!
Let's get into it.
Right. All right, for today's show, we're going to go over some quick announcements, of course, and go into the ban and restrict announcement that just happened 2 days ago. We're going to cover the market a little bit in our segment, Cornering the Market, followed by a MRC season send-off, and of course, our kind of intro discussion, initial thoughts on the new set, Mortal Ambition. Does this sound good to everybody?
Let's do it.
Cool, let's go. All right, first up, announcements. Nothing really major. It's more just that Ascent is coming to NorCal. Yeah,
That's right.
We got it.
We get our own Ascent.
We get our own Ascent, yeah, and we don't even have to travel. We just drive a little bit. It's nice. Ascent Santa Clara will be happening on December 7th to 8th, that weekend. And it will be at the Santa Clara Convention Center, which, for those of you guys know, is basically where the 49ers play, the 49ers Stadium, across the street from it. So pretty cool. So TalkGA crew will be there, present, along with a lot of other NorCal people in general. But yeah, so I will be personally casting for the event, along with
Mark casting.
Yeah, finally back in the casting seat, along with Lynch Break Cam and also Jim the Eternal. Yeah, so looking forward to that.
Gonna be awesome.
Very exciting, yeah. Fome and Eva are also volunteering for the event, so they're not free. We got them.
Hunkering down.
Enslaved. That's right. All right. There will be a Path of Silver for this event, which is pretty special. So if you're a collector, this will be an event that you can also participate from Path of Silver, along with, of course, the standard side events. I'm assuming there will be artists gallery booths, whoever arrives at the event, special exclusive Ascent merchandise from the store. Tickets aren't sale now. I think it's just standard, probably normal tickets, maybe some normal silver tickets as well. Yep. But still, you can join us for the event. It'll be really fun.
Yeah, there's also a cosplay contest.
Oh, that's right, cosplay contest. Yes, Path of Silk.
That's Path of Cosplay. Let's go.
That's right. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna go right into our first segment of the show, ban and restricted announcement.
Oh boy.
Fome, take us in.
All right, so we got the new ban and restricted announcement, and as promised, Erupting Rhapsody is now officially banned. It's in category 3. So I think the devs actually mentioned this in a live stream, that with the release of Mortal Ambition, they were going to ban Erupting Rhapsody, which is kind of unprecedented, because I don't think in any TCGs I'm aware of have the devs told players ahead of time that something is going to get banned.
Yeah.
They may have said like, oh, this is on our watch list, or we're paying close attention to this. But I've never heard like devs being like, oh, by the way, in a month, this is going to get banned.
It's kind of interesting. They had it like a month in advance before the ban.
Yeah.
So quite a bit of time. Pretty
cool. And I think the devs basically said like, the way Erupting Rhapsody works, because it gives you, a level up for that entire turn, allows you to basically like go off exponentially with all these other cards that they're going to print that care about your level.
Yeah.
So as we'll probably get into this a little more as we talk about some of the A and B cards, but the new mechanic Empower is basically like only for the next spell it gives you a temporary boost to levels, or like the spell would resolve as if you're a higher level than you actually are. But yeah, because that design space would be severely limited by a card like Erupting Rhapsody, they felt that they had to preemptively just ban it so that they'd be able to still continue designing cards like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mark, like would it actually have been really problematic if they kept Erupting Rhapsody?
I think it's impossible to play this season if Rhapsody was around. I think so, yeah. Rhapsody is just too good. Like you said, exponential power growth. By and large, like the idea here is just give you some amount of ability to make your spells more powerful, but just one spell. So I think it's a good ban. Feedback from the field, by the way, just I kind of asked around a little bit, like how the players in general felt about this announcement. I did this at NorCal, but also at Singapore. General feedback is really good. Very positive about the way that this was announced. It gives like Erupting players one last hurrah to run the deck. And I did see a bunch of them actually run Erupting decks, because that was the last time you could do it at an official tournament. But it also just, people were like ready for it. So it's fair for everybody, right? If you're like, hey, selling the card, buying the card, whatever, you go into it with a understanding of what's going to happen soon.
Yep. Yeah. So they did a good job.
I think so. I think this is good. Well received.
Cool.
I'm kind of curious. Do you think Erupting Rhapsody was meant to maybe have like Tamer class bonus on it? Because it has the harmonized mechanic. So it's kind of like meant to be played with like the Tamer cards with melt.
Like a pride thing to unlock pride?
Yeah, for pride, exactly.
Pride, and then of course get the harmonized with melodies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of meant for the Tamer decks?
And
then accidentally it got a little too powerful.
I think one of the things is like if you print cards that are way too restrictive, it makes it so that they can only be used in one certain meta or deck, and it like takes a lot of the creativity out, right? Of like how you can build decks. So you want some cards to be generic, which I think gives a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, but I kind of think that if it did have the Tamer class bonus, it wouldn't be banned right now. Maybe.
It would probably be fine, yeah.
I mean, it may just become the like Alan Rhapsody deck then. Like a Rhapsody and then like you unlock Pride to swing with some beasts or something. Yeah, it could be like that. Yeah.
But aside from the Rhapsody ban, there are no other changes to the ban list. So everything else in Category 1 and Category 2 are the same as they were before.
Yep.
I don't know, what do you guys think about that?
I was kind of maybe a little bit surprised that Gaia's Blessing, which landed on Category 1 of the watch list last round, didn't move up the watch list at all. I don't know. I personally kind of think that card could go. It makes the Slime Sylvie deck a little bit too consistent. Just like you get an extra card, maybe 2 cards every turn.
It makes the deck super explosive, and then like feed Storm Slime. And,
yeah. What do you guys think about that card?
I love Gaia's Blessing because I have so many like fond memories of like trying to make it good in Dawn of Ash Sylvie before slimes were a thing.
Dude, that card was so good when Tamer was bad. But now that Tamer is good, it's a little
maybe it deserves to be at least in Category 2, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, part of the problem with Blessing 2 is actually Stone Skill banned.
Yeah, it's still really good.
so all of Sylvie deck feels like a circle, as in every card in every zone has a purpose, and they move from one zone to the next zone to the next zone. And so I wonder if Gaia's Blessing is a huge problem if ban does not exist. But because ban exists, you can discard literally animals into graveyard, which then enables Gaia's Blessing, which like then like you guys are both saying enables your Storm Slime, because maybe that card you flip up top is Storm Slime, and you're like, you just look at the thing, you're like, well, this deck kind of like drives itself into the foregone conclusion. So I think, I don't know, and maybe the solution actually is at some point Stone Skill ban comes out of Proxy's Vault, right? Because that's a little bit easier way of fixing it, and then Gaia's Blessing doesn't have a problem, I think.
Maybe we have Orb of Sealing now to deal with some of those cards and banish. We'll probably get into that a little bit later.
Yeah. It's a good card for sure. Yeah. I'm surprised too, I guess, in some ways, if there's no movement on like where Sylvie is. But I think this is also a little bit cautious, because one problem I have with Category 2 in general is like every card that has gone into Category 2 has been banned. So I feel like any card that goes into Category 2 are never going to come out. So my fear also would be if we move it to Category 2, it signals to a lot of people that this is a big problematic card, and one little anything is going to move into 3, right? So I don't think it deserves to be there just yet. Maybe A and B meta will tell us something different.
Yeah, let's see how the meta shakes up before deciding if it goes into Category 2.
I think if A and B weren't releasing right now, or rather it's already out. If not for A and B, I would like hella argue for this card to move up the watch list, but we'll see what happens.
That's probably the reason why. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, are we all good? Anything else you want to talk about for the ban list?
I think we're good. We're ready to hear all about
cornering the market. I'm ready.
Cha-ching.
All right. So first of all, I'm going to be speaking a lot about A and B cards for this segment, right? So the market is very, 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 very new for this. So a lot of the prices are very unstable. So just take whatever numbers specifically I say with a grain of salt. In fact, I'm sure by the time this video is released, those numbers are not going to be accurate. Precaution. Okay, first card on the list is going to be 3 Visits. Maybe one of my favorite cards from the set. maybe the favorite card. But 3 Visits actually came out of the gate around, I think, $60 to $80. People were very high on this card. Yeah, for one card, not for the playset. But it's fallen a little bit. And last time I checked, it was around $48 per card. And maybe the direction is still going to go south as more boxes are open. Right. Okay. So my thinking on the card itself is that the card is actually very good. It's utilized in a lot of win decks in general, and it's free, right? So it's a good card it's a free card and that you can use many, many times. So
I just think of cards that go in a circle from your hand to the grave to the banishment to your
back
deck.
Into your deck, yeah, exactly. You draw it later. It's just too good. But the fact that it's a UR is probably why it's commanding this price. It's harder to get. You have to get, most decks want to run 4 of them, probably. Maybe too early to tell. I think if you think about this card as strong as a card like Pendragon, right? Like something that's very necessary in the Crux package, Pendragon is a $35 card. So this card being 45, 48, being its higher rarity, utilized probably by more decks, right? Because it's wind element, not advanced element. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe. Okay, next card on the list is Indolent Leisure. This is interesting because it's the most expensive rare card from AMB so far, other than Dungeon Guide.
Wow, that's
no other rares actually make the list, but of course this is what happens when the meta is not quite figured out. It says solid like $4.50 right now, right? And it's one of those cards that has not really seen a drop since the release. So more boxes are being opened, but I think these cards are being snatched up so fast, it's not falling in price. It's a really strong card as a rare as well, right? The card is really good, fits into a lot of decks. Any deck that basically can get somehow either cheat into level 3. This is where Empower comes in, because this is
Demonic Charm. It's pretty easy.
You charm, exactly. Or any deck that goes to 3, right? You can leverage this card to basically, it's a card that draws you 2 cards effectively. It's draw 1 into hand, draw 1 into memory, but
It's kind of like the equivalent of Turbocharge.
Yeah, except I don't have to have a power cell.
It's like Gentle Respite, but it doesn't matter what your influence is.
Yeah, it's exactly. These are really good examples of why this card is better. Yeah, I agree. Okay, next card on our list, of course, is going to be Dungeon Guy. So I'm putting this on the list for Cornering the Market because I thought it was really interesting, right? A lot of people were going into Mortal Ambition thinking this card is going to just tank, right? Dungeon Guide in general. So I saw some pre-selling of Dungeon Guides at around $20 towards the end of MRC season because, if we're going to reprint, this card is going to be worth even less, right?
Yeah, so the devs announced publicly that they were going to reprint Dungeon Guide in this set with new art.
With new art,
so people probably thought that it was going to be worth nothing.
Yeah.
Did the price of Dungeon Guide go down towards the end of MRC?
Yeah, so I think Dungeon Guide was around, so beginning of MRC, it was, around the announcement of the reprint, Dungeon Guide went to about from 30 to 35 to about 25.
Wow.
And then went a little bit lower to 20 was towards the end of MRC, right? But the surprising thing is that after a lot of people have been opening boxes, Dungeon Guide hasn't really budged from 20. I mean, there's some people who are selling for 15 on Discord, etc. But what I'm seeing on TCG Player is solidly $20, and
for every version.
For every version, they're not really moving. It should still be easier to open in this set because there are less rares here than there are in Dawn of Ashes. So, yeah. All right, the last card, or really just cards on Cornering the Market I want to cover is foil URs. So this is actually a really big surprise to me, and probably to a lot of people, right? But did you guys know foil URs are more expensive than the CSRs from the set as a whole? Yeah. So of course, your champion CSRs, Gen 1, Gen 2, whatever. Okay, expensive, right?
Sure.
Those are going to be expensive anyways. But all the other unique allies CSRs, way less than you think they are. I mean, the consistent market for those cards are $200, $250, that around that range. That's where transactions are happening, right? Not what people are asking for. But the foil URs are actually around, I think, $350 and higher, upwards of. I saw some early ones were sold for $600 plus, right? So again, this was surprising to me until I checked the actual statistics on what the cards are. So I'll take a specific or random card here, like Imperial Seal, right? The UR for the UR Regalia. the population for the full version is about 178. Whereas the CSRs, we'll take, for example, Xiaoqiao as a CSR, that one has a population of 253. So there are more CSRs currently than there are foil URs, which the market was right. I mean, market oftentimes is correct.
That's really interesting.
It's more rare. My personal read, though, is that this is wrong, right? The CSRs do look better, but I think part of this is also a hype factor. We've never seen full art URs before, but like a SIG is a SIG, right? It's got to be worth more, but for some reason, it's not. So I guess time will tell which side of the market is correct. But currently, full URs are worth more than you think they are.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty surprising, yeah.
Very. That's going to be it for cornering the market, but we can kind of cover our main topics for today, which for the first topic is going to be the MRC send-off. As we're starting the Mortal Ambition season, so we do want to kind of cap off Mercurial Heart and talk a little bit about all the things and fun things and things that we enjoyed in MRC. So kind of kicking off this topic here, I'm curious about your general feelings about the season as a whole.
Oh man.
Yeah. Fome?
Yeah. MRC is just like, first I want to say like the fact that, it ended on what I think is a high note with like a lot of different decks and then a lot of people playing at events shows that Grand Archive is here to stay. Like this is a game that's gonna go the distance.
Yeah.
It wasn't a phase, Mom.
It wasn't a phase. It was also like kind of like a real roller coaster of a competitive season.
Yeah.
Like with some pretty big shakeups from BNRs, a lot of strong opinions from various competitive players. But I also think that just goes to show how passionate the players are about the game.
Yeah.
But those are kind of my overall impressions of MRC. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I personally felt like MRC was really fast-paced. And I don't mean the gameplay. What I mean is like, for me personally, I just felt like it happened and it's gone. I think part of the issue is like a lot of these events I didn't really attend. I didn't attend Chicago. Since Singapore, I was just so busy doing Path of Silver. And then the rest of the time, I mean, honestly, there was, of course, the famous shortage of cases. So I spent a good chunk of my time like getting cards to people and then getting cases to people, making sure like people were well supplied within at least our region first, and then of course anywhere else in the globe that they needed them.
Dude, you were selling like non-stop during the MRC season, right?
It was very busy time.
Too busy being a vendor to be a player.
I mean, GA is, like you said, it's growing. The game is here to stay. I think the vendors are seeing this too, which is why we're seeing like even another shortage in A and B. We'll talk about that in different segment, but like, there are a lot more stores picking up the game, which is a really good sign across the globe, not just US, but US definitely for sure, I can see. Yeah, so that's how I felt about MRC as a whole. Yeah, what are some fond memories you guys all had from MRC? I'll kick us off, right? So personally, like, of course, kicking Fome's ass. Like, I think, again, like I said, I didn't play too much of this season, but I played you one time. It was the first and last game of MRC for me, us. It was really great. We had some really funny banter. I think some of our locals were walking by thinking we're fighting, but it's our brotherly banter.
Literally, I'm playing my game and I hear from behind me like, "Take that, asshole!" I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, we were shit talking pretty loudly.
Oh yeah.
But it was all in good fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna frostbind that? No, you're dead. All right. And then of course, like I like how MRC is a downshift on the Lude from ALC.
Oh wow.
Except of course Tristan's melons. Those are pretty big.
Yep. For sure.
No comment.
No comment.
All right. Fome?
Yeah.
Some fond memories of MRC?
It was really fun. I mean, like running a lot of events, working store champs, volunteering at regionals. I actually got to pretend to be a competitive player once, playing at Ascent Chicago, and being on stream and getting my ass whooped was also a highlight of the season.
What do you mean? You purposely try to be entertaining, right?
Yeah.
It was done intentionally?
Yeah, but then I also got in my face beaten.
We were praying so hard you would hit every a water card when you Icebound Slam. We were watching from home. We're like, is he gonna get 5, 5, 5, 5? No, it was 4.
I think Icebound Slam moments are definitely a highlight of the season.
Yeah.
As anybody who plays that card knows.
The gambling.
Yeah, the gambling, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. My favorite is when freaking Sean Lifterzil wins the store championship on Nico, and he plays one copy of Refurbish just to like screw with his chances of hitting for Icebound Slam.
So there's always a chance. You're always rolling the dice.
So
great.
And he won that store champ too with the one Refurbished like dead ass card in his.
Was it a foil 1E Refurbished signed by Silva?
Probably.
Absolutely. Get that done.
So funny. Gambling for real.
Yeah. Eva, did you have any cool memories from the season?
Yeah. Like you mentioned, like the NorCal regional was a highlight. Like it was something that I was looking forward to for a while because it's like, I mean, I try to get to know as many people in the community as I can. So it was really exciting to be like, oh wow, there's gonna be this one big event where like 70 people that I know are all gonna be in one place at the same time, right? And like we had a huge turnout. It was like 100 people, and we had and like. I think one thing is like we're kind of ambitious with our events, so we had a lot of extra things like an artist alley booth with Kani and Jin and Cherry's art, and then stream by TM32, which you and I were both helping with, and then casters Benton and Jim the Eternal, and it was just like overall as a spectator, it was really exciting to watch because the competition was so strong. Like I know a lot of people in NorCal have been training super hard for this regional, so it's just been really exciting. And then a lot of our friends were in top 32, top 16. We're not an Ascent, we're a regional. And it was won by Christian Ducats.
Yeah, congrats.
Little toot for Christian.
Yep. Congrats.
And then like not just NorCal was really strong, but there were also a bunch of strong competitors from SoCal, which is Southern California. NorCal is for Northern California. So they're kind of like our sibling region. We kind of have a friendly rivalry between us. It was really cool to see a bunch of strong players from SoCal come up, like names that we've been hearing a lot, but like some of us had never met before. Like, I don't know if you guys know Joe Facha. Won 5 of the store championships in SoCal for MRC season. Like, I don't know if there was a store champ that Joe Facha was present at that he didn't win.
Wow.
Some of us call him the final boss of SoCal.
Wow.
So it was like, what, the final boss of SoCal is coming to our regional? And he did end up placing in the top 16. Oh my God, I almost said top 32 again. I keep thinking we're Ascent Santa Clara, but soon. So how about you, Mark? Any fond memories from MRC for you?
Yes. So first of all, on NorCal regionals, man, getting humiliated by Sano on stream, good. It's a very good learning moment.
Sano's a good player. So.
He's a really good player.
Yeah. And it's a privilege to get beat up by Sano.
That's right. 3 in caps against 3 Ascensions. Yeah, I will never live that down. And he was really, really friendly. And after the match, he was like, all you had to do was get 2 swords out, play a little slower, and it would be a different game. And I was like, whoa, this guy. Never even thought about that line. I'm not a good player, So, anyways,
you're good too.
I'm not that great. Anyways, MRC for me, right? I'm actually, because I didn't really play a lot of the events, but I did go to a major event towards the end of the season. I went to Ascent Singapore, and I roommated with Lee.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. And so like, honestly, I think, having very, very close hangouts with Liftersil Sean, and also Duckhast Christian and Christian's girlfriend, like a lot of the people. Shout out to Joanne.
I love her.
Yeah, Benton too. Benton was there. A lot of like hanging out, and just really got closer to these people that I don't spend that much time with. I mean, I'll see them at like locals for a couple hours and bye. A lot of good conversations. I think it does help that we stay up for almost 2 days in a row to do Path of Silver, right?
Crazy.
Wow. All night Path of Silver.
Yeah, we were guessing all the way until 6 a.m. and then we had to assemble everything. So we got 2 hours of sleep that night, and then of course just go into Sunday to submit, and then of course the full day. We're not gonna go back and take a nap.
Wow. Can you explain quickly like how Path of Silver worked? Is it the same as before, or is it a little bit different this time? Or?
Yeah, I think it's actually really prudent because we'll be having another Path of Silver very soon. So for everybody who's coming to Ascent Santa Clara, here's how by and large it works. In general, for submission for Path of Silver, you're gonna need 50 cards, just 50, not like a ton of cards. but it's going to be 50 cards based on their scores. If you want to know what scores each cards have, you can look that up on index.gatcg.com. Each card and their foil version, CSR version have a score. Some of the promotional versions don't actually have any scores. Just be cautious of that, even though they're foil or higher rarity. The key is going to be actually in the set bonuses. So once the set bonuses are released, by completing a set will be something like, imagine if I say, what about all the baby slimes? So you might have to give a baby blue, baby green, baby red slime together, right? And a baby gray. And that is a full set. If you have those 4 cards in a set as part of your submission, then you'll get, let's say, another extra 5,000 points. Yeah. Some sets, this is an innovation from recent Path to Silver, but some of the sets are actually hidden, meaning they're guessed by the people who are participating. The way it currently works is that every participant of Silver, you do have to purchase a Silver ticket. You will have the ability to make one guess of a single card of a set every hour, once per hour. Okay. We actually didn't finish guessing this time around.
So it was pretty hard, huh?
It was really hard. There were, I think, at least 4 or 5 sets that nobody ever got. And one of the sets actually makes a huge difference. So had somebody guessed the set or just blind submitted it, they probably could have taken top, like rank 1 for Path to Silver without any tie breaks.
So basically the set was called red pill, blue pill. And then it says there's 2 cards, and you don't know what the 2 cards are, and you have to guess what the 2 cards are. Yeah. And I guess nobody guessed it by the end of the event.
My recommendation for any Silver players is definitely try to make sure all 50 cards are part of some sets. That's going to be net you the most amount of points. The threshold you want to hit for Path to Silver is going to be 100K. It's really, for most players, hitting 100K, I think is very attainable.
It's such an interesting puzzle because it's like, you don't just need to have like a good collection, but you also have to be pretty clever and be able to like guess the sets and also optimize the scoring so that you'll get the maximum number of points.
Yeah, I actually really like that like puzzle piecing aspect to Path to Silver.
And overall, I mean, I'll just give you Path to Silver is really fun. It's way more fun than it sounds. Like it seems like, okay, I just bring 50 cards. No, it's like guessing, we're running around. Yep. Who has a guess? You got a guess? Okay, and we're talking about like the guesses as a cooldown timer. Like what would you say? My cooldown's coming down off cooldown. I'm coming off cooldown in 5 minutes. And then,
go.
It's coordinating a raid.
It's crazy. People were like, I gotta guess. Tell me what I should guess, because maybe they didn't have an idea or something. We had guesses queued up. Huge team effort. Everyone was working together to get the categories done.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about some decks from MRC though to cap it off. What are some notable decks from this season?
Let's start with the most obvious one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you think MRC, slimes.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't know, is the consensus that slimes is tier 0? Is it like heads and shoulders above every other deck?
Yeah.
Yes, you think it is?
So okay, let me first define what I think tier 0 means, and you tell me if you agree.
Sure.
I think a tier 0 deck is, first of all, only one deck can belong in tier 0 effectively. It's the deck that's better than every other deck in the meta will be tier 0. Is slime tier 0? I want to say yes, but maybe it's not quite, but it's very close. Slime goes well into almost anything. Slime is an easier deck to pilot, so it's harder to make mistakes in it. And overall,
Singapore, only 1 slimes in top 8. Hey, is it still tier 0?
Yeah, I think a lot of people also like built against slime deck pretty heavily. That's number 1. Number 2 is there are a lot of good players in Singapore too. I think that's part of the reason why slime, I guess, percentage-wise did worse. But if you look at top 32, there were quite a bit of slimes in top 32.
Oh yeah,
so the chance of getting there is high. Plus, a lot of slimes ran into each other because there's so many slimes at Singapore. They messed up each other's record.
Yeah, it's undeniable. At every major event, there's like a huge showing of slimes, and generally, the top of the tournament is overrepresented for slimes.
Data-wise, like Singapore, right? Like I believe, if I remember correctly, slime was at 31% representation at Singapore, for example.
That's pretty massive.
Yeah.
And it's like, after slimes, it's like, it falls off a cliff and it's just like a couple of every other kind of deck.
Yeah, exactly. Normally that's true, but the only reason it's not true in Singapore is because we're in Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia loves Merlin. So Merlin Firecrux was 19%. But it's like 31 to 19. It's still a pretty big cliff.
Yeah, that's pretty big difference.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I kind of feel like Slimes, it accomplished what it was meant to do, which is be an entry point for new players and feel like they have a fighting chance against experienced players, which has pros and cons, as we've talked about before. But I also think this might be like kind of a self-correcting problem because Slimes has like a power ceiling, I think, because it's a typal deck. For example, Spirit of Slime can only play essentially cards. Norm cards or Slime cards if they print new ones. So like if you want to slot new cards into this deck, they can basically only be Norm or Terra at the moment, or if they're new Slime cards printed in the future. So it's like as if Slime is the best it's gonna be pretty much right now, unless they print brand new Slime cards specifically. And then every other deck will continually get more and more support and kind of like rise up in power. So maybe over time, this like tier 0 thing will kind of just solve itself. Potentially.
Interesting.
It may not even take that long. I mean, AMB is, has a lot of support for every other meta. So AMB could change a lot of things. AMB is also introducing new meta, like the unique ally stuff. Could be unique ally with horses. Who knows? What about Tristan, the other one?
Tristan. I mean, like, it's been really interesting to see the evolution of this deck. Of course, there was, a BNR that heavily changed the build of the deck. And, it went from all-in Shadow Strike, Tristan, to I guess it's at this point kind of split into two like competitive variants. One that's still based on Shadow Strike, but it maybe replaced the Korhazi outlooks with Beseeches. And then the other, which is like more of the go wide Tristan and like, like pump up your Shadow army and attack you. And it's like, it's still putting up numbers. You still see it at like most like big tournaments, like a few of them. So it's like, not like it's completely out of the meta. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that evolution, I think.
So I think the battle between the Slime and Tristan throughout MRC was just like really memorable. I think it will go down in history of like this is the, I mean, like, from Ascent Taipei all the way until Ascent Singapore. Like you start in Southeast Asia, you end in Southeast Asia. The changes, the flow, the ebb and flow of like which army's better, which deck. I think
poetic,
it will be very memorable, but whether or not, like for better or for worse, right? But it's, I think, something that a lot of people will remember for a long time. For me personally, I really liked and was surprised by Nico. I mean, the set was printed a lot of cards for Nico, right? Like the memorable card that we talked about, Icebound Slam, really changed that water dynamic a lot, right? But also Ravishing Finale. These cards are just like the things that Nico needed to end a game, right?
Icebound Slam is like an iconic MRC card.
Absolutely.
Like every water player talks about this card now.
Like the best water card in the game, probably.
Ton of damage, floating memory. It's just 100% value, Especially if you build it into a deck where you're almost guaranteed to hit, it's even better.
If you don't play that one refurbish.
Intentionally screw yourself up.
I was also really surprised by the resiliency of Merlin. So a couple things to think about, right? Like Merlin has not, like, when we did our FTC video, right, I was like, my favorite card from the set is Merlin because it's a card that seems really good. It's also Crux, my favorite, back then, my favorite element.
What is it now?
We'll talk about that soon.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And then of course, all the cool things about a mage, warrior, class bonus, all this stuff, right? Drawing cards for free, gaining free levels, so much value, right? And we still see after, despite all the people saying Merlin's dead, Deanna killed Merlin, everybody killed Merlin except Merlin's still around and Merlin's performing in events. I'm just surprised by it because there hasn't really been that many like cards. I mean, no Crux card has been printed since FTC, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fragmented
Ethereal Slime. Sorry, go ahead.
Ethereal Slime is the actual Crux card.
True.
But I think the big innovation for the Merlin decks was the Fragmented Spirit of Fire, right?
There's that, yeah, for sure. And then there's also just, I mean, I think people are, if you play a deck a long time, right, you start getting really creative. Like, things like Retold Fortune is a fun innovation for that deck. Geldis, the Cowman, is fun innovation for that deck. I mean, all these things, people are trying different things everywhere. Under Fire was huge for Merlin deck, But I will say this, if you're a Merlin hater, AMB is not going to solve your problem. In fact, I think AMB is going to make Merlin much, much better.
Oh, yeah.
Much, much better. I've already seen one very scary Merlin build, and it's only going to get worse as people would discover more. There are decent fire cards actually printed in this set too. So we'll see what happens with Merlin.
Dude, Vanitas?
No.
You know, like,
Yes.
it's so funny because on the last episode,
Yeah.
we talked about how Cirque Longtard
Yeah.
placed 18th at the SoCal Regional
Yeah.
on Vanitas, and then he comes to the NorCal Regional and places second with Vanitas,
Yo.
which is so cool.
Still on the deck.
It's so
Okay.
sick.
Okay.
Yeah. So MRC kept going. He maybe could have been like #1 or something. You know? Like,
So maybe like like it could be like, this feels like, remember Water, Lorraine, and DOA? I was like, maybe Water, Lorraine's the truth, but we're out of time. FTC's
yeah,
dropping.
Yeah.
It feels that way. Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned that because so Fractal of Insight, which is a website that we all love right now, it's fractalofin.site is the website URL, developed by one of our locals, MDuo13, has a bunch of statistics that are super interesting, and they just updated the website to add a page that's all about deck archetypes. And so you can see like the win rate of the entire deck archetype as a whole. According to their data, Water Allies has the highest win rate of any decks that are reported on this website. Like based on 419 matches played, it had 58.7% win rate. Especially because Water Allies wasn't really one of the most popular decks of the season. It was 6th in popularity, and yet it had the highest win rate out of all the decks. And with A and B, I think Water Allies is only gonna get like way better.
Water cards are so good in A and B.
It's gonna be kind of crazy.
All right, well, it sounds like you both really want to talk about A and B. So let's shift gears to our second
Get hype.
topic
Okay.
A and B.
of
That's right.
the episode. Yes,
Mortal
Mortal Ambition.
Ambition.
Mortal Ambition, yes. We're gonna kick off this segment actually with a crack a pack.
Oh yeah.
Let's
So
go.
each one of us has a pack ready, and then we're gonna open it, and then just kind of
Let's
share.
check out the cards.
Let's share some interesting cards.
Okay.
So, somebody who's closer, please do the honors.
There
Oh,
you
thank
go.
you, thank you, thank you.
Dude, have you noticed how thick these packs are
Yeah,
compared
it's
to
like a
other
book.
like packs in
Were they
GA?
not this thick? In
They
DOA?
feel so much
It's
thicker.
15 cards now instead of 12.
What was? Oh.
All right, who got some cool cards out
Okay,
of
I
it?
let's
even
look
look
at
at
this deck or this
All right.
pack.
I mean, I already looked through mine.
Dude, Royal Bear is so funny. I cannot believe they printed Royal Bear.
Yeah, it's literally a bear with a crown. Let's see, my
Extraordinary
my
bear.
rare is Crimson Prescience, which is it's a really interesting card. It says choose a card name until end of turn of damage will be dealt to your champion by a source with that name. Prevent the damage. So I gotta know ahead of time what they're gonna hit me with. But if I
What
name
the-
it, then it doesn't do any damage.
Just say Nico.
Just say Nico, yeah.
All right. Well, my rare is Dungeon Guy.
Hey yo!
Yo.
Yeah. But also, I noticed. I guess I noticed this earlier, but Zephyr is now uncommon, so they've downshifted some cards too.
Oh yeah.
This is the second reason why I thought this was draftable. Creative Shock is uncommon, not an uncommon. What else did they downshift? They downshipped a bunch of cards. Okay, so let's start discussing the actual set itself. I'm really curious about like everyone's thought on Mortal Ambition so far. I'll actually just kick it off because I'm so excited. I'm bursting. Okay, I am loving the lore. I mean, honestly, like when I knew this was about Sangguo, when I knew that this is gonna be the set with all the characters of my like youth, right?
The
And
Three
then
Kingdoms.
seeing the cards themselves, knowing that I guessed Xiaohudun correctly on the artwork when I saw the slipstream,
The eye patch.
dude. I mean, all these little pieces, like I just feel like I'm a kid again. Like it just
Aw.
brought me
That's so
back,
cool.
like everything, all the cards, everything, like the flavors, right? It's great. Like
Yeah.
it's all the little details. Nobody cares except people like me. And then we see it, we're like, yes,
Yeah.
got it.
But I'm guessing like there's probably a lot of people that are similar to you in like
Yeah.
East Asia
Yeah.
who are like this set is really resonating with.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely accomplished that. Sounds like.
Yeah, the flavor text on Xiaohudun, I was reading that earlier to Fome.
What is it?
It's something about like no arrow can stop me from my winning for Wei or something. Yeah,
No arrow will stop my conquest for the way.
yeah.
The way.
And the arrow is
This
because
is the way.
This is the way.
This
Yeah.
is the way.
and the arrow reference is because Xiaohudun lost an eye to an arrow.
Yeah,
right?
actually the flavor text is
Like,
on point.
You got to
for
be
this
really
set.
deep
Yeah.
in the lore to know things like that. Like, what arrows is Xiaohudun talking about? Guess what? It's the one that took out the eye. Like, it's so good. And I think the overall energy for the set is really good. I mean, every set, right? The expectation from any game creator, trading card game creator, is that the set reinvigorates the community, gets more people to come back in, check it out, buy more products. I mean, the kind of support I've seen for AMB is huge. This set is like out of stock everywhere in US. I mean, it's like really hard to get boxes now. There is a second wave happening, but I think what happened from my original analysis, I think a lot of stores were just starting to be more confident in Grand Archive as a game and willing to carry it, right? So if every store buys, let's say, 6 cases, that's a lot less cases for the other stores who used to buy like 30, 40, 50, right? So it's actually kind of interesting how that's working. Yeah, but it's more evenly distributed. And also we're unlocking more regions. So higher print run, but we have to feed like EU, Japan, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, Australia, etc.
Yeah, I really see a lot of energy in the Japan scene in particular. Yeah. Like on Twitter, I see most of the tweets are coming from Japan.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Fome?
Yo.
What
did they do to water? It's too good. It's too good now.
You mean what they've been doing for water for the last 2 sets?
Yeah. So now I'm Fome, the fire player.
Yeah, it's super funny because we've been joking like, oh, we the water players, but Fome's never been a water player.
What?
This guy's literally just the
underdog player.
Exactly. Like play with whatever deck is bad player.
But yeah, so we're gonna go all in on fire now.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's right.
You should play Norm.
Norm.
A little too bad.
I could go in that direction too. I think there's some Norm support in this set, which is pretty cool.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of going back to your roots though, because the very first set you started as Fire Mordred.
Yeah, I did start with Fire Mordred, and now I'm Water Mordred, and now we go back to maybe Fire Mordred. Also, I really like the reprints of existing cards, but with new art, which is so cool. By the way, if you guys remember, we made Mark guess which reprint had new art for the one we got shown at
that's right.
Ascent Chicago.
Forever ago.
And for those of you that guessed Banner Knight, that was the card. Yes. Yeah, and Banner Knight indeed looks really cool.
I guess I said Banner Knight on the show.
We told you we weren't gonna react.
You should have just.
No.
Really.
But I'm really glad you like the art because I do also like the art too. There's a lot of cards that I thought, they're so cool. And man, I'm a big fan of Pinakes now. I didn't. Okay, so okay. Sean was like, we've been telling about Pinakes.
Pinakes is the goated artist.
Now I agree because I'm like, so first of all, I meet him at Ascent Singapore.
I'm so jealous. That's awesome.
Right, and it was really cool. It's like, oh hey, you're Pinakes, okay. And then I'm like, wait, this prize card for AMB is insane. The one with like the fan and the pagodas, and the snow falling.
Snow? Or another one?
Whichever one's gonna be the prize card for this season.
Oh, that's right.
It looks so good. Holy shit! I was like, who's Pinakes? Of course.
Lost in Thought is the Omnidex.
That's right. Lost in Thought.
Look at
big
that
prize card.
Look at that art.
So
beneath
pretty.
The snow-covered tree with the pagodas in the background. Oh,
never getting.
But it's the same scene as the Sun and Snow. It's just from a different perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I know,
and
right?
It's Lost in Thought. I want it.
And it's Lost in Thought. It's actually.
I guess we'll never get it.
I can never have it.
Hey, bribe some top 100 Ascent players. But I'm actually kind of curious. What do you guys think about the new foiling? So we have another new foiling for this set, right? It's supposed to be the unbendable, unbreakable, uncurlable foiling.
Confirmed they're very straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very impressive that the innovations they've made.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks kind of different too. It's like kind of like shinier.
Yeah.
It's like I think I like it. It's got like almost like a laminated look. I would describe it to it.
It feels like more glittery.
Yeah, maybe a little glitterier.
And less like metallic.
So the foiling changed. I had the benefit of ripping one of these in half.
Oh wow!
At Ascent Singapore, it's printed on the card, so there's no layer. That's why it doesn't bend. It's the card. There's no two pieces anymore. There's no plastic layer that bends the card or whatever. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm really glad they figured out their foiling and also like the dark inking that happened in the last set. They fixed this set. Like the foils look really nice.
Yeah. Production quality wise, it looks perfect.
I agree. Yeah.
MTG, take notes.
They're never gonna learn.
They're never gonna learn.
It just gets worse in MTG. Yeah. Pretty soon, MTG will basically be equivalent to print and play.
No.
Like it's a printer quality card. It's so bad.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to TalkGA.
TalkGA. Yes. I'm actually kind of curious about your opinion on this whole new full art UR.
Oh yeah, they're
ultra rare,
all extended art.
All extended art or full art.
Full art.
They're different.
So I actually God, I think people are gonna cancel me for this, but I prefer not full art.
So you're gonna do like a artist alter where you draw the frame back in?
Take a Sharpie and just go like this.
Yeah, because like when I fan the cards out in my hand, like I need to know like immediately what the makeup of the cards is. It's hard to tell what the element is, for example. Harder to tell.
Because you're missing the element border. You're right.
Yeah. But I guess you could just wait for Alter Edition.
Yeah.
I guess it's only first edition are gonna have the full art treatment URs. But they're cool, and I respect that they're trying to make the box opening experience better for collectors because people were saying like, I can't tell what's a money card in this box.
I did find that opening experience very exciting, so I'm a fan of the full art.
Okay.
Granted, I haven't actually played a deck with them yet, so I don't know like how it feels.
I played once with SP2 cards in my deck. It was basically the Gleaming Cuts.
Gleaming Cuts, yeah. Okay.
And after one game, I switched it back because I couldn't immediately tell from a glance what was my Gleaming Cuts. Because I couldn't see like bright yellow shining my face.
That would be bad, if you're like, I didn't put
it took me just like that one more second to figure out what was in my hand, so I went back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm actually, I personally, right, like I don't really have an opinion either way. I think it dilutes the value of a CSR.
That's a really good point, yeah.
If there's now more artwork that looks very similar to the CSR. Like the CSR is supposed to be the pinnacle chase, if you will, of any booster box or case or many cases, minus the CUR, of course. But it dilutes it a little bit if there's like another card that kind of looks like it, maybe even better, right? And they're all exclusive, so it's almost like, like Dragon's Dawn is not going to have a CSR version. It's just going to be the full art version. So there's a little bit of that.
They bleed into each other a little bit. Yeah. Maybe like the CSR needs a different art or something.
Yeah.
But like imagine if you went and got your foil UR signed by the artist. Yeah. Like with a gold marker. Yeah. It would look just like the CSR.
That's right. Yeah. Personally, like I like having a very different looking high rarity card.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I don't know how we would make the URs special, but not CSR special. But yeah. So we'll see. I mean, but I appreciate GA trying things. And this is the thing I say about every card game, right? Any card game that doesn't innovate dies. But like GA, every set, like, okay, do we change the packaging? Do we change the amount of cards in the set? Do we make it draftable? Do we change the foiling process? Always innovating. Right? Do we change how the frames work, right? Maybe how the rarities are in a collation. I like that. I like experimenting because if it doesn't work, they just stop doing it. It's a one and done. So what about fun decks? Any decks that you guys saw that were interesting?
Why are you looking at me? Like literally all I know about A and B is the starter decks.
Okay. You're combing master.
Oh God.
Yeah. No. Water combing.
Oh my God.
Master.
Yeah. That video was awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
Great
thank
job.
you. Yeah. So for context, Weaves Shore very kindly contacted me to make the Kongming starter deck introduction video. So that's kind of what my life has been revolving around.
Literally revolving.
Oh my God. Oh wait, holy, I'm a genius. Wait, that actually wasn't intentional. Wow, things are really spinning my way. So thanks for laughing. Anyway, circling back to the
oh my God.
This is going to go on for the whole podcast.
Sorry.
For the whole thing.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, anyway, that's been my life. And as soon as I uploaded that video, I just crashed and died. Like yesterday, I was supposed to go to the launch event with you guys, and I just could not. I literally slept through the entire event. So I've been meaning to ask you guys, how did the event go? What kind of interesting stuff did you guys see?
First of all, how did you like playing combing? What do you think about the water combing deck?
Oh, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much to keep track of. Because you play a card, you have to turn your directions first, and then you go back to resolve the card, and it's there's so much stuff to do. Yeah. But otherwise, I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah. And oh my God, it's also pretty strong. Did I tell you I played against Christian for fun? Christian Duckhats being the North American national champion. He was playing an unaltered Kongming starter deck, and I was playing my constructed deck, and he fucking almost beat me.
Yeah, that deck, it feels very strong. It seems like probably one of the stronger starter decks out of the box.
Okay, I should try it and see how I feel.
Yeah.
because I did play Coming, but I didn't play the starter deck Coming.
Okay.
Okay. What did you play?
I played a Fire Coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
they're the worst Coming, right? Because Fire's worse.
we think so until I started reading some tarot cards. Yeah. So a couple things, right? Like Leeching Bolt is insanely good.
Oh yeah.
Leeching Bolt is good for a finisher.
That's the best finisher.
There's a couple really interesting tarot cards like Conduit of Seasons that draws you cards, you know, if you're in the right direction. Channel Manifold Desire to like basically empower for a crap ton if you get the right card into your preserve. One of the right cards you can preserve is Planar Abyss, which is a 12 cost. I don't know how you normally play this card though, but if you can get it into preserve somehow, you can empower like 14.
I cannot tell if Planar Abyss is going to be a meme card or if it's actually good.
It's so and this goes back. Remember we were talking about like Erupting Rhapsody. Imagine I can burn my entire graveyard and just play for free. You dead?
Yeah. Planar Abyss is very win more, I think.
Yeah. It's hard to resolve, I think.
Yeah.
Right now.
It's a fun card.
Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting tarot card, and like you said, my experience in Fire as well was you could draw. There's a lot of value. Coming draws better. I think Coming draws better than most people think Coming does.
Oh yeah, constantly drawing.
Constantly drawing.
Oh,
yes.
Coming is the best draw champion now, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, but that introduces another problem, which is Coming is also a very like. I think the skill ceiling for Coming is very high. You also have to sequence your spells correctly because you care about directions. You have to cast a spell to change directions and make sure you're going to be in the right direction to do the next thing you're going to do. That doesn't cause you to undo the last thing you did. It's insane. And then of course, once you have a lot of cards, I mean, this is the reckless conversion problem. You have a lot of decision trees and you don't know where you're going to get. So there's a bunch of turns I felt like even yesterday where I was taking like 5 minutes per turn because I had too many cards and I didn't know what to do. Like, what is the right way to navigate a kill? How do I get a card into preserve? What could I possibly reveal from the top of the deck to get what I need to win the game, etc.? It's a lot of weird decision making. Another really interesting deck that I saw yesterday at the locals was Wind Allies. So I'm like, okay, what is the new iteration of Wind Allies in Andy? Holy
There's always a new one.
It's really good. Now, I think there's actually two different like branches. I haven't seen the second branch, which is the human branch, right? The very human focus with Phalanx Captain and Tactical Sergeant, like that coming back again. But the branch I saw was the horse one.
Yes.
So Dilu, right, as the horse, along with Liu Bei, they pair very well.
Dilu is a house.
Pairs super well. I mean, Dilu is if I remember correctly, it's like cost what, 2?
It's a 2 cost 3/4.
It's a 2 cost 3/4.
What the heck? I don't think I've ever like looked at this card properly before. What is this?
It loses. I think if you have a unique ally, it loses pride and gains vigor, right?
Yeah. So 3/4 vigor.
Why is it 2 cost?
Because it normally has pride 3. So you normally can't do anything until level 3.
So they're trying to say like, oh, it's really hard to get the exact combination of cards to turn this on. But it turns out it's not that hard.
Because you play the Liu Bei and then you play the Dilu, and then now the Dilu is swinging for 3, and then Liu Bei is swinging for damage as well. If you can somehow get distance, and this is where Tiana comes in, like backstep, different cards that could potentially give you like distance.
Yep.
You are going.
Your Liu Bei is getting well. You can give distance to something else, and then Liu Bei also becomes distant. Now they're all swinging for a ton of damage. Yeah. Oh man.
And 4 as a health stat line is very hard to deal with. So I mean, it's weird. Like if you don't kill Dilu, right? It's really interesting. So you can maybe you target the unique ally, but then they can just play another one on their turn, and now Dilu's enabled again. So it's really it's super tricky, I think, to navigate around the deck like this now. And of course, you play the standard stuff like second wind to get more damage in, right? So effectively, this deck now, instead of going tall on like one, like Simmer Cloak Assassin, you can go wide, right? Every one of your allies doing damage and pretty good damage. So which one are you going to stop? So if you don't control their board, you will lose very quickly. What else? Jin.
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh.
Is Jin really that scary?
Jin is deceptive, I think.
Yeah.
I think like of course initial starter deck testing feels like maybe Jin's really good, Jin's easy to play, but then it became like okay, Coming has a lot of value, so Jin's actually not that great again in Coming or against Coming. But then I think what we may have missed or whatever is that Jin actually has a lot of draw 2, and damage is an illusion kind of in Jin's deck.
Yeah.
Normally you think like, I'm putting this guy at like 22, he's dead. But 22 means what? Chalice of Blood. Like, you can Berserker play and now it gains 7 life. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to draw cards, right? You have a bunch of different ways where damage doesn't kill me. And in addition, like, as long as I don't die on my turn, I pass a turn, and if you don't kill me on end phase, I now get full basically 2 turns.
Yep.
And any amount of damage you put onto me in that turn, even if it's over my like limit threshold, just means that on my turn the crackback is insane.
Yeah.
As in, Jin basically is an OTK in that, right? Because on the back end of this, you do something like Enrage, which gives you extra damage for amount of life you've taken, damage you've taken. So one damage extra for every 4. And then the Strong-G of
like 1 extra per 5, is that right?
Yeah, 1 extra per 5. It deals damage to you, but also draws a card on enter. So like, it fuels your hand. There's like, of course, we talked about Berserker plays dealing damage to you, but like, and then Jin has cards that make Jin's attack like either you can get 2 attacks, you can make them unblockable. Unblockable is really done in fire, but you play a fire Jin.
The unblockable, I think, is Pierce the Heavens.
Yes,
so
unblockable is Pierce the Heavens. Yeah. And then you could do, of course, Unpreventable, which is a fire card, right?
Yeah.
So you can. So there's different ways. That card is called
Blazing Lunge.
Blazing Lunge. Yes. And so like, there's different ways to make Jin like really guarantee that last hit.
When I was playing the starter deck, albeit it's a starter deck, I couldn't get around how do you like get back tempo from the fact that he doesn't bring in a weapon when you get Jin. Lorraine's like, when you get Lorraine, you get a 0-cost sword right away, but then you have to like spend an extra turn to get his spear.
Yeah.
Like, is that actually an issue, or do you like actually use that card that like materializes a polearm?
Yeah, are people actually playing materialized polearm?
Maybe later in the season we'll find out. But the easy way, honestly, is you just grail. You grail the Strong-G of Sacrifice.
Oh, is he like kind of not really using his weapons until he gets his combo set up?
Yeah, because again, it's like if I can do like 40 damage in one turn, why do I need to do anything until last turn, right? But it's like, that's why damage is deceptive in this deck, because like Strong-G reads as a 1 attack card. I mean, on the surface, if you just look at the card without doing the math, it's like, oh, he's just 1 damage. What's the problem? And Enrage has a lot of words, but it has no stat line. So these cards don't tell you how strong they are until you do the math. You're like, wait, that's gonna do 10 damage to me, and that one is gonna add another like 8. So this is 18 damage already.
Yeah.
And you can hit me twice. I'm dead. What the heck?
Wake up.
Yeah.
Attack again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Strong-G has 3 durabilities, so you can get those 3 swings in.
Yep.
Dude, the Jin deck has so much division.
Oh yeah.
It's so much math.
What is 1 star?
So
it's
funny.
not 1 star. You have to do long division.
Yeah, especially because they're not dividing by the same number.
Yeah, you have to find the common denominator between these 2 numbers. Like,
6, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's right. We got to find a common denominator between 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That's the right number to hit.
Yep. That's the
highest
optimal
value.
number to hit.
That's right. That's right.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning the Vanitas deck earlier from MRC. There's like, it's even better now.
It just got
It's just like
crazier.
actually like a real mean deck right now.
Yeah.
Because they printed Razor Gale Calling.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think it's a Fantasia, right?
Yeah.
But it deals 1 damage to their champion every time you play a win card.
Whenever you activate a win card, deal 1 damage.
Yeah, so imagine like these decks, all they want to do anyway is just like, I'm gonna play my Windmill Engineer and then return my Windmill Engineer and then replay it and draw more
Windmill
cards
reclaim,
and Baby Grey Slam and do that and reclaim. And it's just like, the whole deck is full of cantrips.
Yeah.
And before it was like, okay, I'm gonna draw a bunch of cards and then figure out how to win eventually. But now it's like, just doing that is already killing my opponent.
Yeah.
And you can just like kind of, whittle them down by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. Don't forget 3 visits.
Yeah, there's 3 procs of that just by itself.
Yeah,
1
so
card.
if you draw 3 visits, it's 3 damage. You have 2 Razor Glade. By the way, it's not unique. You can just have 4 of them.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, once you have 4 on the table, you draw your whole. You're drawing so many cards. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah.
It's like 4, 4, 4, 4, and then they're just like,
It's
dead.
Vanitas, I was sitting next to Fox when he was doing this.
Of course, Fox was playing
And
this
then-
card.
yeah.
I love that for him.
Of course, first Fox is very happy to play this card.
Yeah.
But
He loves
also
journaling.
but what I noticed was he wasn't even going to Vanitas 2. He's killing his opponent on Vanitas 1 with no attack stat on the Vanitas. He doesn't care. It's just like, I glimpsed 4 so I can make sure I get my cantrips in.
Insane.
All right, so what other cards have we not mentioned as we were talking through decks that are caught your eye from AMD?
With the fatso.
Oh yeah, me first. Yeah. Dongzhuo is my card I want to bring up.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It's a Terra card, right? So you do have to get to 3, but it's kind of interesting. Flavor wise, it's kind of weird. So you're gonna play Dongzhuo in a Koming deck. Anyways, doesn't make any sense. Yeah. But
because they're like enemies.
That and also like Dongzhuo's dead before Koming really becomes a real character in the storyline.
Oh.
Anyways, doesn't matter. But the fun thing is that Dongzhuo comes in and it's like, if you have the class bonus, you get to choose 2 of the list of 3 possible things. Should we read the card first to our audience? Okay. Dongzhuo. I think if I remember correctly, 3 costs win a Terra element, unique ally, guardian mage human, and then it says it has intercept, and on enter, you may rest Dongzhuo, right? If you do, choose 2. This is a class bonus. You have to be a mage or a guardian to do this part. You can deal 3 damage to all other allies.
Including your own.
Including your own. You can empower 3, or you can also gain vigor until the end of the turn. The vigor is really just so that you can get your intercept, right? If you need that. But also you can do a mini board wipe. 3 is a good number to deal.
Kills crazy. Most things.
And also, of course, like Empower 3 helps with Mage. So I can play the Dongzhuo as an Empower card also. It's a body, but also Empower. So I can do, for example, Mage is like, you can do Empower, and then I will Vigor to protect myself or something, right?
And he has a 4 life stat, so big.
Yeah, big boy.
Down the board, yeah.
Not dying. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun card.
Dongzhuo is a pretty sweet card.
Yeah, the dome.
Yeah.
Yes. What card do you want to bring up?
So it actually could work with Dongzhuo because Dongzhuo is unique.
Oh my god.
But I love Mortal Ambition.
Yeah.
Because
I also love the set Mortal Ambition.
I love
from
the
Grand
namesake
Archive.
card.
Yes, and I like from the set Mortal Ambition the card Mortal Ambition.
That's crazy.
And it's like being like the namesake of the set, you'd imagine it to be like some like awesome ally or champion or something like that, or weapon. But it actually seems like a pretty niche effect. So Mortal Ambition, it costs 6. It's a fast tamer skill, and it has a cost reduction of 2 for each unique ally you control. So if you have 3 unique allies, it's free.
Free, yeah.
And it reads, until end of turn, human and horse allies you control get +1, gain ambush and steadfast.
+1 life.
+1 life. So it's like a little bit like a favorable wins in that regard. It gives them more survivability. But the fact that they get ambush and steadfast, which is like a really insane combination of abilities if you think about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's say like I put have my board and I swing out at you with everything, and I'm holding up 1 card.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna swing back at me?
Yeah.
Because if you do with your champion, I'm gonna freaking jump you with my entire army, and you're gonna die. Like you just immediately die. And also it's like they can't really attack you with allies too, because whatever ally they attack you with instantly dies. Because all your dudes just like jump them, just like tackle them.
Or you can do it in a way where it perfectly kills the ally, and now it stops the rest of the attacks because they have to think about like what to do. Yeah.
It's like the ultimate like porcupine mode spell, kind of like Storm of Thorns. A little bit in that regard, but like on steroids.
Yeah, better, more choices.
Yeah. So I really want to brew with this deck, with this card.
The jump deck.
Get jumped deck. Get jumped.
These Johnny players.
As a fire player now, I think maybe fire.
Fire jump.
A fire Mortal Ambition get jumped is the deck.
I'm so proud of being a fire player now.
I'll see you in the alley.
A little extra context. Both ambush and steadfast are keywords that help your allies be able to retaliate. I think we didn't mention that.
Sorry, ambush means that they can retaliate even against units that are not attacking the defending ally.
Yes.
And steadfast means you can retaliate even when you're rested.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
Retaliating doesn't cause you to rest.
The only way this card could be better is if they say like retort 1.
So like my entire board of rested allies can just like kill you if you attempt to attack me.
And retort is a keyword where it says basically if you're retaliating, then it plus the number. So in case of retort 1, your attack gets +1.
Or your retaliation gets +1.
Your retaliation gets +1. Yeah.
Yeah. One really interesting card is it's the new Fractal.
Yeah, Fractal of Polar Depths.
Yeah, that one. It is like the super Fractal of Rain, basically, which is like Fractal of Rain, you're like milling yourself 1 every turn. Fractal Polar Depths reads, it's a reservable Fantasia, just like the other Fractals, but it has a class bonus if you're a Cleric or Tamer.
Yeah.
You can sacrifice it and mill yourself X, where X is the number of water cards in your grave.
Mill being putting cards from your deck into your graveyard for people that don't play MTG.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can quite easily envision a situation where you've like Icebound slammed your opponent and then play this, sack it, and then mill like another 10 cards into your yard.
Yeah. 5 for a total 10. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I mean, you could have like double Icebound slammed. Sure. Play this. Now you have like a gajillion cards.
24 because you have 2 Icebound slams in there too.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, if you're going for it, and you can then use one of the new cards they printed as a payoff for this. The Stratagem
of Myriad Ice.
Yeah, Stratagem Myriad of Ice.
Yeah.
It's a spell that you can play and banish your floating memory, and every time you banish a floating memory, you can any number of floating memory. Yeah. Every time you banish one, just 3 damage. Jesus. So it's like
crazy.
If you 10 floating memory in your yard, that's 30 damage. It's like wow. Just like
does it care about water floating or is it just floating?
Just floating.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like Erendite in that it's like a 1-hit turn. You can like eat all your floating and put it into 1 big attack, but now it's spell damage.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. But it's good for Tamer too because the Serpent from DOA.
Dude, ooh.
Gets plus attack based on water cards in the graveyard.
That's right.
Suddenly, I can do more.
What's that one girl who comes back from the graveyard? If you mill an ally?
Mistbound Cutthroat.
Mistbound Cutthroat. Such a cool card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we see that in play soon.
Oh man.
That could happen.
Yeah, mill like 20, get like all the Cutthroats back. Okay.
Cool.
Eva, do you have a card you want to talk about from Mortal Ambition?
Okay, so I haven't played a single game of A and B yet besides the starter decks, but I was kind of excited about the card Imperial Seal, which is like the new Divine Relic.
Yeah.
You banish it, and then you can, for 1 turn, play cards of fire, wind, and water.
Yeah.
Right? I like seeing this card, my first thought was like, this seems a little broken, and rip Trisket and rip Prismatic Sanctuary, but also Neuron activation. I can play Flame Sweep in my water water deck now.
Heaven forbid you
Like,
have to play Tidal Sweep.
Dude, get Tidal Sweep like far like. I don't want to see Tidal. I don't want to see Tidal Sweep ever again. Flame Sweep is my new best friend.
Yeah, Lorraine 2, Flame Sweep in water seems pretty decent.
Cards like this opens up like everything.
It's
you can play your
crazy.
Prismatic Merlin, and then like if you actually put playable fire and wind cards in there, in case you need them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other crazy part about this card is it's a Regalia. So the difference between this and Prismatic Sanctuary is that Prismatic Sanctuary you have to open with it.
It's very reliable.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I don't get this Regalia until I see my 4 fire card. Once I see my Flame Sweep, then I get the Regalia out and then I sweep you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like leagues better than the
way better.
Sanctuary or Trisket.
Yeah. Rip.
Is it better than GCR?
That's the question.
Is it better than Quicksilver Grail?
Know.
Yeah.
I've definitely been hearing a lot of varying opinions about this card. Yeah. Some people think it's not going to be played, but I think it has so much potential to just like break everything. Like I don't want to see fireballs in non-fire decks.
The other thing I was thinking about too is like, as a Merlin player, I hate how like super late game, I may have like 30, but like 5 floating memory in graveyard I can't use, right? So of course you can like get the Prismatic Edge out, whatever, but I was like, what if I run Lost in Thought?
Yeah.
You know, like really use it, yeah. Like I just run the Lost in Thought anyways, it has floating. That could be my Prismatic. Like, right?
Yeah.
But then on the turn I really want it, I can just
I'm gonna
play.
draw 5 cards with it.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. I also play Prismatic Edge in my Water Lorraine, so my Flame Sweeps, I can just use them for Prismatic Edge.
That's right.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
And also for my Water Lorraine, another card that stood out to me was Halocline Scout? Halocline Scout?
Halocline Scout, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So this it's an ally with on enter, rest target unit, and then other allies you control get +1 power as long as they're attacking rested units.
Nice.
Dude, it's like Bubble Mage and Banner Knight had a kid. But like,
yeah, this is pretty good.
Dude,
Unit, not ally.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Is this the water jump deck? And jump on the champion. Everybody, get him.
You're rested. Get him.
Mortal Ambition. Get him.
Get him.
True.
And then on the back, crack, Mortal Ambition. Get him. Get him again.
Yeah.
Because he's rested, right? Like you attack, rested. More ambition. Get him again.
We're all gonna just build jump decks.
Everybody's doing jump decks. Yeah. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about Mortal Ambition before we end our podcast for today?
Really crazy, or not crazy, but just like funny card in Mortal Ambition. Heavenly Guide. Can you believe they did this?
No,
Can you believe they did this? Like, so just for people who don't know, Heavenly Guide, basically the gist is that if your opponent uses Dungeon Guide to level up, you can play Heavenly Guide, which is an ally that will let you level up for free just because your opponent played Dungeon Guide and leveled up. And so I just want to imagine the Waves of the Shore team sitting around a table and they're like, what should we do about our Dungeon Guide problem? And someone's like, we should reprint the card. Yeah. And then someone else is like, what if we made Dungeon Guide a liability?
I just can't run Dungeon Guide in case my opponent has Heavenly Guide. Oh no.
Yeah, the juking for this card is insane.
It's so funny. Like, of course, granted, I'm gonna be pissed if someone plays this against me and I play Dungeon Guide and they actually get to level up for free. Yeah. But the design of it is so funny.
Yeah. I mean, we have some debates about like, it's like a catch-up card, so you're already behind.
Yeah.
But then like, it's also definitely there are situations in which like, you get so much value just from having one of these that it like, you catapult way further ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way you can kind of think about it is like if you're facing a level 3 deck, okay, first of all, sideboard, basically.
Yeah.
Don't mainboard this thing. You might run into like Fire Xander, like, we don't fucking care about your family, guys.
What's a Dungeon Guide?
Get him.
Like, jump
poison dagger, get him. Right? Yeah. So it doesn't matter. But like you see like the Coming decks, you see the Merlin decks, you're like, oh, okay. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them my Heavenly Guides. So you slot it, and you don't have to do all of them. You may do like a combo of like maybe 2 or 3 Heavenly Guides to just put in instead of your Dungeon Guides, or maybe in addition to your Dungeon Guides, right? So in the cases where you're behind, you hold one of these and you just wait. You know they're gonna Dungeon Guide, and then you show them. And then maybe game 3, you side it out. So now they're afraid of Dungeon Guide, knowing that you have a Heavenly Guide, but you don't even have it anymore in the deck. You're running something else.
Now it's mind games.
Stifle Trap. Like, you know, it's crazy, right?
In an open deck tournament, I would just like have it in my list so my opponent thinks that would
always have to.
Just like,
yeah, so I think it's a really interesting, it's the juking, the back and forth. It's interesting. I'm really curious to see how pro players take this card, how far we can take this. Is it a dud, or is this like some crazy new meta where everyone has to guess who's Heavenly Guiding, who's DGs or whatever? Yeah. But I also like the fact that like it's another way to deal with DG that's not a Stifling Trap, which is locked in wind.
Yeah.
Everybody has access to it. It's super fair.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Cool card. Thank you for bringing that one up. Yeah. Also, really big boobs in this one too. Just saying, like, you were saying the artwork is not lewd. I'm just saying it's like lewd everywhere.
Who said the artwork wasn't lewd?
The girls are pretty.
Literally, who? There are literally pretty girls in this set.
So then we're ending our podcast.
Mark, have you seen Marksman Captain? She's so pretty and so demure.
Okay, I don't know what demure means. But
no!
Mark doesn't live on social media.
He's not chronically online. Anyway, she's so pretty.
I know what it means.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. The podcast knows.
Okay, whatever. Anyway.
All right.
Well, I will say I agree with you. Yeah. I'm not a super fan of the direction they're taking some of these cards. Like, I personally would be hesitant to play Heavenly Guide.
For the artwork?
Yeah, I don't super drive.
It's a little bit risque, depending on who you're playing with. But you know, they are serving different audiences.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm not that audience, but that audience does exist. So, anyway, sorry, weird note to end on.
All right, okay. Cool.
Okay.
I do want to cover something for our potential future episode, right? So, if you've been enjoying the Sangguo lore, right, and some of the like things for this set, but have questions about the lore, right? Please submit those questions to us, and
Mark.
to us, TalkGA, and then we'll be covering answering those questions in future episode of TalkGA, right? But basically, you know, like if we have questions, right? You can submit them to us through our Twitter That's going to be just add us at TalkGA_podcast with hashtag TalkGA, and then just tell us what the question is. Or if you're on YouTube right now in this video, down here below in the comment section, just hashtag TalkGA, put in your question. It could be anything about Sangwo lore, or anything. We're collecting Sangwo lore questions, so we can do it on a very focused historical lesson episode. But also you can do that for YouTube. And if you want to traditionally email, you can also email us at talkgapodcast@gmail.com. Cool. Yeah. And we'll answer them live on the podcast. But with that, that's going to be the end of our podcast for today. Thank you for being here with us, experiencing the end of MRC, but also the beginning of Mortal Ambition.
Yep. May your polls be epic.
May your polls be epic.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Feel the power of my magic.
Feel the power of my magic.
Is that the Imperial? Okay. Oh, Zhang Jiao. Yeah. Also not in the set. What's going on? Anyways, that's going to be for us today. I'm Mark, Eva, Fome. We're TalkGA. See you guys next time. Stay classy.
Qing.
Ganbei.
Everyone has a different. Okay, stay classy. My name is Mark, and
yeah.
One
Yeah.
what am I supposed to?
I'm Mark from Solo Games, and here with me are my co-hosts.
I'm Eva.
I'm Mark from Solo Games.
No.